Hello there and welcome to a very special edition of Full Chat from Motorcycle Live 2025 with me, David Prutton.
And me, Ewan Thomas, celebrating all things we love about being on two wheels. Now, Full Chat is powered by BikeSure. As the UK's largest independent motorcycle insurance broker, they will work you out a quote, saving you tons of money on your annual bike, scooter or moped insurance.
That is seared onto your brain, isn't it? Don't forget to press subscribe on YouTube so that you never miss an episode, or press the follow button on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast from.
Right, today's guest, this is an absolute pleasure for us. He has been on our podcast before, but not under the bright lights of the NEC. He's an absolute motorcycle legend. He's a blooming lovely bloke as well, and a steely determination, which basically doesn't let anything get in his way, and that's why he's the fastest road racer in the world, the one, the only, the brilliant Peter Hickman.
Thank you very much. Pretty good introduction, that, you know. You've earned your money there. I owe you some money, I think.
All downhill from here.
Yeah, we chatted to you before, and we'll get into that, but you are a decent bloke as well, which makes a nice bonus, because in the world of sport, in the world of elite sport, not everyone's nice like you, so thank you for being you.
No problem at all. I'm glad you think so.
Hickey, it's so good to see you, mate. We're going to get on to some very, life-changing stuff, serious stuff in due course. But first, let's back it up a little bit, because as Ewan said, we've spoken to you on the podcast before. It was a wonderful chat that we had, but there's been a lot going on since then, both on and off the bike. Let's start off the bike to some degree because of 810 with Davey. When we spoke, that wasn't even a thing. Now it's fully formed. How do you get from not being a thing to where it is now?
Well, yeah, that is a long answer, but I'm going to make it as short as possible. But yeah, myself and Davey Todd has obviously set up 810 Racing BMW Motorrad team. We are the official BMW Motorrad team for not only the British Superbike Championship, but also for international road racing, so Northwest 200, Isle of Man TT, and as we've just been to, the Macau Grand Prix as well. It wasn't the plan originally for 2025. We were both going to be riding with another team. However, what transpired over a few weeks worth of backwards and forwards, neither myself or Davey were happy with what was going to possibly happen with the team. So we actually almost independently, but almost together, ended up kind of coming up with the same idea of, I'm no longer going to sign for that team anymore. We actually hadn't signed the contracts. And I think that's where a lot of confusion had kind of come from, because we had been announced by the team, even though we hadn't actually signed a contract, which is a bit unusual in itself. That's probably one of the many things that was going on. So we decided to pull away and do our own thing. And we did that completely individually. There was no conspiring behind the scenes. It was only after that had happened, we both realized and both picked up the phone and was like, what are you actually going to do? And he was like, I don't know. What are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. But I wasn't happy where I was. So we then decided that we'd have a sit down, we'd have a chat and figure out if there's something that we could even do together. And we did the same with some of the people that were in that team as well. And it ended up being, we literally sat around a table, had some coffees, and within, I would think, 2 or 3 hours, we kind of came up with a plan that we form our own team, we own it between the two riders, which is really, really unusual, particularly in our sport. It happens in supercross and motocross and all the rest of it, but not in superbike and road racing. It's not something that's very normal. So literally a few hours around a table, and we had a bit of a plan and a direction.
It's funny, I mean, because we spoke to Davey as well, didn't we? And Davey was lovely about it, kind of saying, well, it was you grabbing the bull by the horns. You both wanted to do it, but it was almost like there was a grown-up leading things, and he was listening to what the conversations were and where they were going to go. It sounds like you were a very persuasive man, Hickey.
I can be quite bloody-minded when I want to be. But also, like, obviously, I'm quite a bit older than Davey. Davey's just turned 30. He's in his 30s now. Like, it's all downhill from there, isn't it? Whereas I'm 38, so we were in very different stages of career, even, if you like, or even though we're against each other, and I definitely like it when I can beat him. Just as much as he likes beating me. But, we are in different stages of our career, and I've been around a lot longer than he has in our sport. I also run my own team, so I had some idea of what I could do if we needed to do it. But honestly, he was well up for it right from the start, which I wasn't entirely sure he would be, because it's a big thing to try and run your own team and own your own team is a massive different scenario than where we were.
What's it like working with someone you actually like? No, I'm not joking, Prutz, I'm joking. No, you clearly get on really well. Like Prutz said, we've had him on the podcast as well. I mean, in terms of, we'll talk about your last 6 months and how it's been very, very tough for you. I know we were talking backstage about your body and where you're at now, but Macau, first and second for you two, teammates, owner of the same team, good mate. That must have been the perfect ending to what could have been a much different year for you.
A traumatic year with a perfect ending, something like that. Yeah, I mean, the fact that we finished first and second in Macau last weekend, super, super happy. It couldn't have been any better for either of us or for the entire team. It's not just about me and Davey. It's about all the people in that team. There's no I in team, and it's not one person that makes a team. It's the group of people that make the team, and we have a really good team around us, and to actually reward them with a first and second was also really good for us. Great for the sponsors. We had a new sponsor, somebody that sponsored us at TT, but for Macau, they have a Chinese department and factory over there, Zico. So they ended up supporting us for the Macau Grand Prix. So it was great for them as well as a new title sponsor, if you like, for that one event. They got a 1-2 as well. So it just worked out really, really well. And to end the season on such a big high, going into the off season, where we can actually regroup a little bit and figure out how 2026 is going to be, it couldn't have been any better.
So, I mean, just to follow up on what Iwan was alluding to, Friday the 30th of May, let's just rewind back to that. The TT, it's the practice week. Good shape, yourself and 810 Marin, getting into that. First off, can you remember much about what happened on that specific day?
Zero. I don't remember anything. No. The first recollection I have of that day is waking up in hospital, realizing that I'm in hospital and going, I'm guessing I crashed then. And someone went, yes, you did.
At that point, do you then ask the nurses or the doctors, how bad is this? Or through experience, you look down, you think, crikey, there's a lot of tubes hanging out. I mean, that's in plus. I mean, was it, wow, I'm alive, everything's going to be okay? Or is it, oh dear, this could actually be career changing?
So I was kind of a little bit in and out of it, but I kind of remember being there and understanding that I was in a hospital for a start. And I'm like, okay, I guess I crashed. They were like, yes, you did. I then realised that my girlfriend Fifi was there, and also my best mate and also team manager for 810 Racing, Darren Jones, he was there as well. So they were already in the hospital, so I must have been there for a little while. And straight away, the first thing I did was like move my hands, move my fingers, move my toes, move my legs, and I was like, I'm all right, I'm all good. And that was literally it. I never even thought I'd not ride a bike again. I never thought...
That's Hickey's self-diagnosis. Just move a few bits around, that'll do, yeah.
How does that make you feel as an ex-footballer when you go down with the slightest of touches?
I see where you're going with that, Ewan. Thank you very much for that. But I mean, but that's reflected in the time frame off the back of that. 3 days later, you sat there in the pits.
Yeah, so the Friday night was the 30th. That was when the accident happened. I actually walked out of hospital on the Sunday morning. So Sunday morning, I actually walked out of hospital. I didn't quite know how broken I was. It transpired over the next few weeks. I paid to go private and get more MRIs and get second opinions, not because the hospital hadn't done a good job, but just because it's always good to get second opinion and have fresh eyes look at something. And I went and got a lot more MRIs, and what transpired over the next few weeks was how much more I'd actually broken myself probably than what we even initially realized. And then I've ended up having surgeries because of that and all the rest of it, and I'm still feeling some of them after effects right now. But you'd never know if you'd met me just right now out here or here at the NEC. I'm fine, aren't I? There's nothing really wrong with me as far as that I can see. But
was it important? You talk about how it's transpired and how your body's reacted over the course of the months. Was it important to be up and about as quickly as you were? I presume the doctors quite obviously give you their professional opinion, but you are built of something slightly different to the average person going in there.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I'm a pretty bloody-minded person, to say the least. A broken bone is a broken bone. If you're not going to hurt yourself anymore, and I'm not mean pain. Pain is one thing. As long as you're not being detrimental to yourself by doing something, I'll just crack on and do it. Pain does not bother me whatsoever. I mean, I'm not somebody that has painkillers. I don't, if I hurt myself, I'll just crack on with it and deal with it. Once I realized I wasn't actually doing myself any detrimental damage by standing up, walking around, or doing whatever, mate, I was out them doors as fast as I could get out. The last thing I want to do is sit in a hospital bed or even sit in my own bed in the motorhome. When I went back to the paddock, I'm staying in my motorhome, and I want to get out. I was out and about seeing the team. I was tired because I had a lot of broken bones. I did collarbone, scapula in a couple of places, 7 or 8 ribs on my left side, punctured left lung, 7 or 8 vertebrae. I did a rib on this right side as well, ligament damage in my knee. There was lots and lots of other stuff going on. And obviously your body is trying to repair itself. And when it's trying to repair itself, it takes your energy. And I never take naps. And I was napping in the middle of the day, like flat out, mouth open, head back, in my chair. Like I could only stay awake for so long because my body needed to repair itself. And
I'll ask this with respect. Just one of those injuries you listed would finish most people's career. You racers are a different breed, but physical pain and mental pain is a very different thing. So we know you can physically do anything and you'll want to be back on the bike as soon as you can. Now, I'll be careful how I ask this, but what are the long-lasting effects on your mind? We all talk and everybody mentions about the TT and the dangers of doing that race, and we all know the outcomes can be very, very bad. But all of you guys are so skilled in what you do and you've got so much self-belief. It's just another race. But how are you in the mind as well? Because you did hurt yourself pretty badly. And obviously when you race again, you must be self-aware that things can happen again. How are you upstairs, if you know what I mean? You all good?
Yeah, I'm a positive person anyway. Like I've said, I'm really strong-minded. And right from that moment of realizing I've got all my limbs and I'm all good, like I've never even thought about not riding a bike. I just wanted to get back on a bike. Like I said, what transpired over the next couple of weeks, I got a lot more damage than what we initially realized. I'd actually even flown on a plane, and I really shouldn't have done because I had a punctured lung, which I didn't know at the time. You definitely shouldn't fly with a punctured lung. I flew to the Le Mans 24-hour car race through BMW, which was unbelievable. Something I've never experienced before. It was absolutely mega. I've done 24-hour bike racing. I've never done the car race, and what an amazing thing that was to see. And it was all put on by...
Just to see. You didn't sit in a car?
Didn't sit in a car, but
I for a minute. I
just went to see.
As well.
It was only 2 weeks after the TT, so I was still very broken as a person. But as we found out when I came back, I actually had a punctured left lung and pneumothorax. It's called, which you really shouldn't fly with a pneumothorax. But anyway, I was obviously fine. But yeah, what transpired over the next few weeks, I got a lot of nerve damage in my right-hand side, so I've ended up having surgery on that side as well. But when I got back on a bike was the end of August, so only 2.5 months after all of that. I was still in a fair amount of discomfort, let's put it that way. However, riding the bike, I didn't know whether I was going to be really good riding a bike, ride a bike and go, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. I had no idea.
What's that like then, that first ride, when you get out, you open it up, and you're thinking, do you know straight away, yes, I'm still in love, I can do this? Because I would be fearful. I've fallen off motorbikes, and I don't want to even look at the bike again.
So I went to Cadwell Park, my local circuit. It's 10 minutes from home. It's one of the hardest tracks actually in the UK, but because it's 10 minutes from home, it made sense to go there because I know it inside out. And if I couldn't ride, at least I could get home in 10 minutes. That was my theory. But honestly, I had the biggest smile on my face riding down to the track to have a go than I probably have done for a very long time. I had such a big grin inside my helmet on the run down to Parc Fermé before they let you out. And as soon as I got out, I was straight away and happy to be on a bike. I had a lot of pain. I couldn't actually tuck in a straight line. It's a really weird thing. I've never felt that before, but with this shoulder injury that I've got on my right side, which is also really interesting. I broke everything left, and it's my right side that plays me up. It's really weird. But yeah, I couldn't tuck in. I had a lot of pain when I came out the last corner when opening up a 1,000cc bike. They're not slow, and thing was flying down the start finish, and I was hanging on, let's put it that way. But I managed to do an afternoon riding. I did like 3 sessions in the afternoon. Felt really happy within myself. Definitely not physically able, but I could actually ride a bike okay. So from that point onwards, honestly, never looked back. And it was interesting going back to Macau, because Macau was the first time I've done a road race since the Isle of Man TT crash. And obviously I hurt myself on a road race. There's one thing doing short circuit, there's another thing doing roads. And even myself, I wasn't sure if I was going to go out there and think, I don't want to do road racing anymore, or whether I'd just be well up for it. And honestly, never even a doubt in my mind from the second I got out of pit lane. I was absolutely in love with racing a bike around the roads.
Part of what he's saying there, I mean, we half knew we might say that, didn't we? That he just gets straight back into it. We've got a quick bit of mid-show housekeeping. If you haven't already, please press subscribe on YouTube so that you never miss an episode, or press the follow button on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Icky, does that then mean that the appearance or the feeling of 100% fit is something that you're not going to comprehend anymore because of how you feel and these battle scars, really, aren't they? Will you ever get 100% again?
We don't really know. I've actually got, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to go back to the specialist in London for a nerve conduction test. So they kind of test and understand if the muscles are actually working again. I basically don't have a deltoid muscle in my right-hand side at the minute. It's fully wasted away because the nerve's not telling the muscle to fire up. So the muscle's just disappeared and died off. So I will find out, hopefully, in 2 weeks' time, whether A, I am making a recovery and should make a full recovery, or B, you're at where you're at. And at that point, I have to make a decision of, do I have more surgery, which involves a nerve transplant, which means taking a nerve from somewhere else. So maybe like my tricep, they basically break it off, turn it around and sew it into the axillary nerve at the front, or I just leave it and crack on. So my honest answer, I don't know. And I don't think the surgeons really know either. It's the problem with nerve damage, they can never give you a clear answer, and it's different in every single person. All I can say is I'm better now than they thought I was going to be. I can do more than they thought I could do already, and that to me is because I'm down to my pushing myself and making myself ride a bike and trying to wake my body up. And I think that's what's actually helping me be as good as I am right now.
You're clearly a different breed, your determination. But just rewind a little bit. Your deltoid's gone. That doesn't work. So you're now having to refunction your brain to use muscles you wouldn't normally use for those reasons. For the new, is it like someone having to learn to walk again? I mean, riding a bike is so natural to you. You've done it all your life, but now you're telling your body, I can't use those muscles. You're going to have to work this other part of my body even harder. How is that adaptation? How has that gone?
Yeah, exactly that. So I'm having to use my bicep and tricep muscles for all this sort of movement. All this sort of movement should be a deltoid, and obviously I don't have a deltoid, so I'm using bicep and tricep. On the bike, if you look at any of the photographs of me, the last few rounds of BSB and at Macau, if you have a look, I've always got my elbow tucked in, which is not how you're meant to be riding a bike. You should be out. I can't hold my elbow out properly, so I am making compromises in how I ride the bike. It doesn't actually really affect my speed, particularly. At Macau, I was 0.2 off my fastest ever lap at Macau, so a lot faster than even I thought I could go. My problem is I wear their muscles out too fast. They're not designed to do what I'm asking them to do. So within 6 laps of that Macau race, a 12-lap race, a half distance, I was just hanging on. I couldn't keep going. You know, I could do the pace. I couldn't keep the pace up, and that's something that I need to work on as much as I can do over these winter months, and hopefully into next year. And fingers crossed, in 2 weeks' time, I find positive news, and they say actually it looks like the nerve is regenerating. In which case, I should eventually make a full recovery. But how long that will take, who knows? You know, with nerve damage, it's not months, it's years. It's a long process. So, hey, it could always be worse.
Well, I mean, that's such a wonderful way to look at it, and we're all very, very interested and invested in how that goes in a couple of weeks. Wish you all the very best with that. You mentioned pace and speed there. A TT lap record that still stands from 2023, 136.3 miles per hour over the 37 3/4 mile course. I know you know that like the back of your hand, both those figures and the course as well. Given what that is, given how historic that is that what you're always chasing as a racer? Because you're chasing yourself there, aren't you?
Yeah, you're always on you're racing the track is probably the best way of describing it. The lap record is a really, really nice accolade to have. It's a nice cherry on top. I don't earn a penny from it. I don't get a prize from it.
So if you did earn a penny from it, you'd be even happier about it.
I'd be much happier if I got at least 1 penny for it. It'd be great. What I really want is to win the race. That's all I'm bothered about. Wins are what count. No one can take a win off you. The lap record will always get broken at some point by somebody, whether it's this year, next year, 10 years down the road, it makes no difference. Somebody will always break your record, your lap record. What they can't do is take a win off you. And you win the race at the slowest possible pace. If I could win a race at 100 mile an hour average, I'll win it at 100 mile an hour average. The problem is there's about 40 other riders that don't want to do 100 mile an hour average. So we have to pull our fingers out. It's their fault.
You so fast.
If they just slow down a little bit, make my life a lot easier.
We've seen from pictures after your crash this year, you're a team player. I said earlier, you're a decent man. What's it like for you when you go to the TT, though? Because you, if you like it or not, you are a legend on the road, and people look at you with huge respect and admiration, and I'm sure next year, even more so, coming back from that crash. What's it like? Because, the TT is a place where you can mix with everybody and people get to get near you, touch you, talk to you. Do you like the attention you get? Because you deserve it. It's the right attention.
It's good and bad. I'm a real people person anyway. I will talk to anybody. I'm sure people here will tell you. I've met so many people today and all this week that I've never spoken to before, and I'll chat all day long, like no problem at all. It sometimes is a little bit of a burden at the TT when you're trying to work, because obviously that's what a lot of people I think forget. I'm there to work. I'm actually there to try and race a motorcycle and not stand and do photos all day. However, I think it's a really good amount of fame, if fame is even a thing. I always feel like I'm a Z-lister, not an A-lister, and I'm absolutely okay with that, like not a problem at all. I'm possibly a big name in this sport that I'm in, but it means that I can go down the shops whenever I want and not get hassled. I maybe have a hello from the odd person or a photograph every now and again. Imagine being someone like Tom Cruise, who literally can't do anything without getting hounded by thousands of people.
Listen, you are Tom Cruise. My mate Chris just came back from America and he met you at a party and he was going, oh my God, you can't believe who I've been hanging out with. You are well known, and
in a small world is what I mean. And I think that's a really good level of fame. The fact that I can be a normal person and do normal things and not get hassled, but then go to somewhere like the Isle of Man and have as much fame as you could ever imagine, where everyone seems to know your name, I think that's a really good level of fame.
I was going to say, speaking of people pleasers, we've had Carl Fogarty on the podcast as well. Slightly different approach to the way you go about stuff.
I was just going to say, slightly different approach.
But the possibly the similarities in that, because he talks to us wonderfully at our live show up in the Northwest about race mode and where you've got to go to in here and in here to make sure that you end up at the very top of the tree. But because you seem so genial, so part of the fraternity, Davey, someone that you're close to, someone that you now race with, but you're all inherently, it's a team sport to a certain degree, but it's not a team sport. It's you versus the next person. How hard is it to go from this nice chap that we sit and talk to here to the one that's got to be a little bit horrible to make sure that he wins?
We're all friendly till we put a helmet on. Do you know what? Everyone's different, aren't they? Every person's different. I've seen lots of other riders. I know Scott Redding's one of them, and actually I'm good mates with Scott, but we don't hang out as such. We don't go have food together. And I've seen him make an interview, and he's like, I can't be that person with the people that I need to beat. For him, it's like going to war, and he absolutely hates everyone. And for him, that's what works. For me, I don't have to have that. I can be absolutely best mates with somebody, put my helmet on and race them as hard as I'll race anyone else. Doesn't mean I don't have any respect for that person, but I'm there to try and beat you. And it's the same with Davey and starting this team even. A lot of people, even now, people are saying, how does it can never work. It can't work. You're against each other. How can you own the same team? Well, I'm against Davey, whether he's in the same team or in another team. It makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. And in fact, if we can work together, as we have been doing, we're actually better for each other. We make the team better. We can give sponsors and supporters more back than anybody else because we will work together and get the most out of everything. So it really doesn't matter that we're against each other. We're only against each other on track.
Just a quickie in terms of, you mentioned the word respect. I'm going to drop another name, Clang. John McGuinness came on and he mentioned you, and he said he actually likes seeing the youngsters coming through and seeing the lines and still learning from the new blood, if you want. Do you compare notes? Like you said, the helmet comes on, you don't want to help anyone, you're out there to beat them, but do you ever chat and say, be careful of that corner, it's a bit slippy today, or the wind's really bad up there? Do you help each other out? Because you seem like you would do such a thing.
Pretty much. Depends who it is, and it depends on the situation and all the rest of it. But normally for newcomers and people like that, like my mate Glenn Irwin did the Isle of Man TT in 2022, came as a newcomer, was riding a superbike, was riding a super stock bike, and there was certain areas and certain days where the weather had changed, and on the start line before we set off, I'd be like, oi, come here. I'm like, you need to watch this corner, that corner, that corner, because they will be bad today. You're like, it's different to yesterday. Forget what you had. Like, and I do that a lot with a lot of the newcomers, not just Glenn because he's my mate, but I've always said to every newcomer that's ever there, if you want to ask any questions, just come and ask. And I'm not the only person. Like, every top level rider will help you, like, no problem at all. You can just go and ask, especially at the TT, because it's so dangerous. And we want everyone not only to be fast, we want them to be safe. You know, people think that we're absolute idiots. We take our brains out to put our helmets on. It's the complete opposite. You know, you have to have your brain in with your helmet on to understand and to be as fast and as safe as what you can be.
Well, I mean, having seen it and watched you work, it's a level of sophistication and brain work that absolutely, it staggers me. We've spoken a lot about the past. Let's talk about the future. What's 2026 looking like with 810 and PHR and the merch and everything and racing? You sound very positive about what next year could bring.
Yeah, we've got lots going on. I mean, from an 810 racing BMW Motorrad point of view, we've got fantastic support from BMW, fantastic support from the sponsors we've got involved, and Monster and all the rest of it. They've been absolutely brilliant this year, helping us when we really, really needed it with a very short amount of time. For next year, we've got a little bit more time to sort that out. We're looking to do Northwest 200 Isle of Man TT, Macau Grand Prix like normal. We, fingers crossed, should also be inside the British Superbike Championship as well, hopefully with a much more competitive machine this time round. But yeah, we're looking to do exactly the same as what we were this year, just this time we've got more time to get everything just right. From a PHR point of view, we'll be at the Northwest, the TT, and also Daytona 200 in Florida, so we'll be racing there. I've done that the last 2 years. I'll be there again in March, so it should be really good. We've got a good Triumph set up there with PHR performance, which is good. And we've got an announcement actually on this stage on Sunday about the PHR.
I thought you were going to give it to us now.
I can't give you it now. No, it's not fair.
It's not that nice.
I'm nice, I'm not
but
that nice. Exactly.
It
So yeah.
costs him money.
So on Sunday we've got quite a big announcement, I think, for the little PHR racing team. It's going to be it's going to be really cool.
And I think from our point of view, just to wrap up, we do need to get to the TT, don't we?
100%. We keep saying it. So I know the bosses at Bike Shore are here, and they're listening as well. Yeah, we'd like a little bit of budget. We'd love to come and watch you, and especially next year. Yeah, we can say we're fangirling him. We've got to be there. We're supporting you.
Nicky's two fangirls looking like this.
Yeah, well.
You can do a podcast there as well. Why not?
Exactly. There we go. We'll do a podcast.
We'll get Hickey on for his hat trick.
Yeah, he will come on. There we go. If that doesn't sell it, nothing will sell it.
Exactly.
Honestly, it's been a huge honour to have you on. Thank you for coming on, and continue your recovery. And I'm sure whatever the doctors tell you, you're going to make everything work anyway, because that's your mindset.
Correct. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Hickman.
Thank you very much. Cheers, everyone.
Hickey, that's wonderful. Let's just round this up like we normally do, Iwan. This is a very special live episode from Motorcycle Live, a full chat powered by Bike Shore. As UK's largest independent motorcycle insurance broker, Bike Shore will tailor a quote to your exact needs and help save you money on your annual bike, scooter or moped insurance.
As we said, a huge thank you to today's very special guest, the one and only Mr. Peter Hickman. And thank you as well to all the staff and the great team at Bike Shore for looking after us here at Motorcycle Live 2025.
And if you haven't already, press the subscribe button on our Full Chat YouTube channel so you can see more of Iwan's wonderful gear and that you never miss an episode. Or press the follow button on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from.
As ever, to our loyals who watch every week, thank you. If you're new to our podcast, please sign in and watch us every week. It's been an absolute pleasure. Until next time, goodbye.